Hey, welcome back to Maybe Actually Museums Are For Me. If this is your first time joining us, it's really great to chat with you. I'm happy you're here. I'm Alex Pavljuk, the digital content strategist here at the Montclair Art Museum, and your host of this show about the state of museums, the culture behind arts institutions, and how everyday people can learn to involve themselves with art even when it may not be something you particularly thought you'd be interested in. That's ultimately how I came to art. Always had an affinity for it, always had an interest, but never a good artist myself. Found museums when I was in high school, somehow ended up here, and the rest is history, and I couldn't be happier. So, that's always been the core of this show, and the reason why I'm spending some time reiterating the point of this show is because here at MAM, and from what I've seen at almost every museum in existence, there is a concentrated effort to get new people in the door to see all that museums, and in our case, the Montclair Art Museum, have to offer. One of those main and beloved events for us is Free First Thursday. And every museum has a similar type event, like the Met has date night. I think at the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens, there's like winter weekends. Every museum, we all have something similar. For us, Free First Thursday, it's a free event. First Thursday of the month. We typically do it 6 months out of the year. It's a great chance for the community, museum members, just regular art lovers, people who maybe are interested in seeing a performance or an activity that we have, to come and enjoy all that MAM has: galleries, facilities, bar, and all for free. It's a great thing. And, for us, and what I suspect at all of these places, is that there are volunteers ready to greet you at the front door, direct you where to go, inspire and excite what you're about to see. Volunteers in many ways are the lifeblood of being able to put on these events, events like Free First Thursday. We wouldn't be able to do this monthly, free community building experience without the help of volunteers. And with all of that said, whether you are a docent, whether you're helping out at a bar, at an event, whether you're checking people in at Free First Thursday, maybe you're helping out at summer camp, your support means the world. And without you, running these events would be so hard. I think this is a great moment to sit down with Andrea Ferreira, MAM's Volunteer and Intern Coordinator, on why volunteering at museums matters so much. Hi, Andrea.
Hello.
What's going on?
It's April.
It's April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day.
Happy April Fool's Day. Also, happy Volunteer Appreciation Month.
You're jumping right into it, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely, because I didn't know before I started this job that it was Volunteer Appreciation Month. So
that's not it's not a month that typically a lot of people are outwardly enthusiastically celebrating, but I think it's a great thing. And thanks for teeing me off, but thanks so much for coming on the show. This is your first appearance on Maybe Actually Museums Are For Me. So thank you so much for doing this. You're relatively new to MAM, but we have pretty similar stories in getting hired, fresh out of college, hired pretty much awaiting a job upon graduation. It's a great thing. For, an audience who may not be familiar with you or what your role as the volunteer and intern coordinator is, tell people about yourself. Who are you?
Great. So, hi, everyone. I'm Andrea. I am 22. I just started this job in January, and basically, I help coordinate volunteers for our many events, fundraisers, art classes. We have children's art classes that each have volunteers, and I also onboard them. So everyone who wants to be a volunteer, they apply and they send me documents, and I just make sure everything is done on the back end for them to become volunteers. I also work with interns, so I'm not just the volunteer coordinator, I'm also coordinating interns. So
Shout out interns, that's how I got my job here.
Exactly.
Big fan of the interns.
It's a great way to learn a little bit about the museum industry. And so I basically do some paperwork for the interns, maybe some interviews, but then I send them off to their supervisor. So that's a little bit about what I do.
Amazing. just I guess for context for you and maybe for anyone who might have been not really paying attention during my cold open to bat off this episode, but essentially, you know, with Maybe Actually Museums Are For Me, one of the things that we try to do, it's kind of gotten lost a little bit in our recent episodes, but the kind of the soul of the episode is we're trying to, you know, pose questions that, you know, somebody who may not be super familiar with museums or interested in the arts can use as launch points into understanding, you know, what a museum is, who a museum's for. It's about democratizing art. And I think, you know, obviously like the aspect and an idea of volunteering at a museum or really any institution is a really democratic thing. It's a really open and accessible way to get involved in your community, get involved in obviously your local arts institution, you know, and it doesn't have to just be the arts. It could be, you know, it could be whatever. It could be your school board. It could be religious group, whatever that may be, maybe a food pantry.
Yeah.
And I guess what we kind of try to do is wrap those bigger questions in a bow of like one singular idea. And so the question that we kind of posed for this episode is like, why does volunteering matter so much, especially in the context of a museum? And I guess that's a big question to kind of pose to you, but you know, why does it matter? You know,
well, a museum has a lot of moving parts, and the volunteers work across many different departments. So for example, in education, we do our art classes for kids and teens, and we have volunteers in each class, like not just, you know, visual arts, but also ceramics. And that is something that instructors value a lot, having support, someone to watch the kids if someone has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then we also have the development department, which works on fundraising events, member engagement, and we do so many big events that just couldn't happen without volunteers. We have them at check-in, at running like a mini bar, like pouring wine for guests.
Totally, yeah.
And these are experiences that, you know, stay with people. Like, they're here to give their time to have someone have an enriching experience with art. And I think that's just so like precious.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
And a lot of them are always saying like, oh, I just love the people I meet here. I just love art. I just want to be around art. It makes me happier when I'm around art.
Totally, yeah.
So all of these different moving parts depend on a couple of people to show up and actually help execute all the work that they've been putting into these events and classes and programs.
Yeah, without the volunteers, a lot of like I specifically, you know, think of Free First Thursday. Yeah. Free First Thursday could not exist without our volunteers. Exactly. And it's a really important thing because, you know, having free access to the arts, you know, even if it is just once a month, is really important. And to be able to offer that, you know, as an institution is a really big deal. And without our volunteers who are running check-in, helping with the bar, obviously our docents who are volunteers, who are very, you know, forward facing, you know, people, they're kind of, you know, conduits in a way, you know, to talk about what's on the walls. It's a big deal and it's a big responsibility, you know, from the docent end of things, but also from the check-in perspective and just being that, you know, the first person you meet at a lot of these events are volunteers. They're not being paid for their time. They're doing this out of the goodness of their heart. And I think it shows. It's really special.
Yeah, it really makes it accessible to everyone. And I mean, on the docent point of view, that's another part of the education department. There are tour guides, and they're not just here for public tours. They do our school tours as well. So they're really helping these kids not just like get lectured, but like have a conversation about art. Yeah. Learn how to like express their perspective on why they think this is a good painting, a bad painting, why they like it, why they don't. So it's getting kids of all ages, many different age groups, just engaged with art, which is the goal. And that's something that they dedicate a lot of training hours to. It's
immense. It's crazy.
Yeah. And they love it. I mean, they're the most engaged group of volunteers.
You have to love it.
Every time they're just ready with so much energy and so much passion for what they're talking about. It's great. And also they make great friends. I've seen them all like form connections and hang out outside.
Yeah, they do group trips. They do. Yeah. It's great. One thing that kind of popped in my head as we were talking about, you know, I think about the docents and obviously the volunteers that are working at the check-in desks, but I also think about, some of our summer art helpers. And I think back to, when I was kind of prepping for this episode, I was thinking a little bit about, when was the last time I volunteered for something? When was the last time I did that? And the answer was in college. I took a book publishing class, and one of the stipulations for that is I had to volunteer at the Montclair Literary Festival.
Oh, wow.
And so that was a really cool experience, just like checking people in, guiding people to classrooms and stuff. And it really did feel rewarding, as an adult, kind of slipping into that kind of that persona and having that experience. But it kind of obviously in prep work, like I said, I kind of realized the last time that I really volunteered was as a kid prepping for I think getting hours to go apply for college. There's kind of this, I think for a lot of young volunteers, this transactional nature where, I need 40 hours of time, spent at this place doing this thing, whether that's your food pantry, whether that's, CCD, whether that's whatever. And I guess my question is how do you kind of, for young people volunteering, how do you kind of reframe and re-energize the experience of volunteering and giving back in a way that's not this, like I said, transactional nature of, I need these hours to apply for this thing, or, I need whatever time, insert time here to achieve this reality or fluff up this resume.
Yeah, I think it's important for me, at least, to make sure that they have a good experience when they're here, giving them something that I know they're gonna have fun doing and connect with other people their age, or at least enjoy being here. It's not something that I know they're gonna dread.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the people they meet are super friendly, and that being here just makes them feel good, that they want to come back and just experience it again, and not just for hours and stuff. And I think a lot of volunteers they'll apply and they'll be like, well, I do need hours, but I'm open to volunteering afterwards.
Listen, that's a great thing.
So I'm really hoping that by building these connections, getting to know their names and what they're doing, and having a friendly face around, they're encouraged to come back and know that they are welcome to come back. And even just to enjoy our galleries. All our volunteers with their badges, they get free access to the museum. And so that's something that they can, bring their families and show them around, and things like that maybe build some connection with the museum as a place they want to be at.
Yeah, and I think that's spurred a really interesting thought for me. But like I was kind of saying, the whole crux of this show is giving people an opportunity to experience art for the first time. And I think, even though this isn't necessarily directly related to the experience of volunteering or, your job in recruiting these volunteers, but I think it's really important to talk about is, what was your first experience like getting access to the art?
Yeah.
I know you worked at the Zimmerli, which is, the museum on Rutgers' campus, which is really great and really profound. But, on a personal level, what was your access into art, and has that informed the way that you approach working with these volunteers?
Well, I grew up loving art. I was just always someone who was trying new mediums and doing doodles everywhere. So everyone around me always knew that I liked to do art. But it wasn't until high school when I was thinking about my future realistically, and I found out that museums had all these departments and places that you could work at, and I was wow.
That was a big realization for me too.
So I became super curious about it, and I decided that I wanted to go to the Met in New York and experience that. And it was just amazing the first time I was there, and seeing just how grand it was and all the opportunities that were available in this field that I loved. That really made me want to go and pursue that. But just also, I like to do art, so I thought education would be great, because you get to let people embrace their creativity. A lot of people are I can't draw, I can't do anything, but you can. You just have to give it a shot. Even if it's not good, like make bad art. Why not?
Bad art is good art.
Exactly.
Yeah. There is no such thing as bad art. It's all subjective. It's all, viewer interpretation.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed that experience, and it made me want to go to more museums and keep seeing things. So
yeah, that's really incredible. One last question. Again, thank you so much for doing this with me. This has been great.
Yeah.
It's been really fun, and don't be surprised if I keep tapping you on the shoulder for more episodes, because this tends to happen.
Yeah.
But I guess just talk to me about how to get involved. Where can somebody who's interested in volunteering find that information? And also, I guess on the flip side of that, do you feel like, and maybe you can answer this in two questions, it doesn't have to be one monstrosity of an answer, because sometimes I talk and run on sentences. But like, aside from like how to get involved, how would what kind of concerns or maybe misguided beliefs or misunderstandings about volunteering, or that it's like these laborious hours and stuff, or it's obviously unpaid work, like how, like, what would you say to like dispel those concerns and really encourage people to get involved in this very like generous way?
Well, I think it's an opportunity for connection. It's work that you're gonna see or feel that it's rewarding at the end of your shift, and you'll see like the impact that it's having right away. Plus, I even struggle to find things to do with my time sometimes, and going somewhere that is, art related is just like fun. So I think we're working to make these experiences feel like, less work and more like community and supporting the arts. But also there are some perks, like I said, like free access to the museum. We're working to do more appreciation things. Like this month we're doing an appreciation party.
I was gonna, really you beat me to it. Yeah, I was gonna plug the party for you.
So those sort of things, I'm really hoping it's gonna become like an annual party where it's just like, you get to come and have fun, and we get to celebrate you, and there's like nothing else. You're not working that night. It's just talk to other volunteers, like meet MAM staff, and just have fun. So making it feel like it's really a community and less of like a job,
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is community building and allowing a window for people to experience the art in their own way, in their own unique, kind of experience.
And we have volunteers that have been here for like years. They love it. They show up every month. I don't even have to like sign them up. They just like, I know they're going to show up. So it's great to see that. And it's great to bring new people and see everyone mingle.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you so much, Andrea. I really appreciate it. Like where can people sign up?
Oh yeah. So you can search, Montclair Art Museum volunteer. But there is a get involved button on the website, or support button where you can select the volunteer tab. And then there's going to be an adult application for people who are like 18 plus. And then there's a junior application. We accept applicants from 13 years old. And you have to send me some documents to my email, fill out the application form, and then I'll get back to you within like a week or two to welcome you and show you and, onboard you with all the different events and stuff we have coming up. So yeah, it's fairly easy. And if you can't find it, you can email me. You can search Andrea, Montclair Art Museum, and I should come up. So
yeah, you're also very friendly. I'm sure if somebody approached you at an event,
you'd
be more than
sure.
welcome.
It's happened before. Come up to me. I'll give you my business card, or come during like open hours of the museum on Friday, and like I'll be there. So
yeah, amazing. Well, happy Volunteer Appreciation Month.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to the party. When's the party?
It's April 22nd.
April 22nd.
Yep.
That's
so if
the
you're
day.
a volunteer and you're listening, you better RSVP.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on the show. This has been Maybe Actually Museums Are For Me. Like always, just, please like and subscribe, follow where you can. We stream this podcast, obviously, wherever you're listening to this right now. But we're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're wherever you can find podcasts in your feed. The Montclair Art Museum is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, plus the occasional first Thursday of the month. Tomorrow, if you're listening to this on release day, tomorrow, Thursday, we are having our Free First Thursday event where there will be plenty of volunteers on the premises celebrating Nanette Carter. So if you're around and want to check it out, please swing by. It's free, like we kind of talked about today. It's a great opportunity to experience the arts in your own individual and independent way, free of charge. So again, this has been Maybe Actually Museums Are For Me. Thank you so much, Andrea, for doing this episode with me. I appreciate it. I'm sure this won't be the last.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
So.